decide what your parameters are before you even start. Because once you start, it's easy to go past extreme measures because you don't want to quit.
Yeah.
Or it's easy to quit quickly because you don't want to lose too big. So I think it's really important to say, hey, like in terms of gambling, I am only going to take $300 out. That is the most I am willing to lose in Vegas for this trip. In business, it could be I am only going to spend $10,000 in this marketing campaign. That is the most that I am willing to invest for leads, and this campaign doesn't turn a profit, right? I am only going to spend this amount of time. Sometimes you have to negotiate and bargain with other people, like family members, spouses, children, and things like that. For me, when it comes to taking risks, I'm a high level risk taker. I'm going all in. But I do due diligence first. You know that I ask a lot of questions when it's time to like make a large investment. I have questions. I want to make sure that the decision that I'm making or the risk that I'm taking at least makes sense to me. It doesn't matter if it makes sense to other people. If I can rationalize it in my own head and it makes sense to me, I am going to go all in. But I do have some parameters. For example, 3 months ago, I invested $100,000 in a thing, right? I wasn't sure. I was just taking your leadership on this. I wasn't sure if this thing would work out. And I kept, saying to myself, as soon as I do it, watch, right? Well, I was willing to test that $100,000 up to a $50,000 loss. I knew that if I approached 50,000, I'm taking my money and I am running. I set that parameter before I got in. Because it's easy when you're in the situation to say, but it could turn back around and go back up. And before you know it, you got $36,000 left. That's just my take on it. I struggle with quitting. Like there's no quitter in me. It can't be this segues into our conversation very, very well. So on this episode, we want to talk about how do you know when it's how did you word it?
What you should consider before you give up.
What you should consider before you give up. And so, as I was stating, it's hard for me to quit because the first thing that I consider, number one, is what's the alternative? Like, what is the alternative? If I am not investing this $100,000 in this thing, then it's sitting in the bank and it has no chance of making any money, right? So what is the alternative? If I am not going all in on my business, then what is the alternative? Going on all in on my job? And is that what I really, really want to do? So when I'm looking at and measuring how long I'll stay in a thing, I ask myself, if I quit this, then what? I actually want you to really think about this. Like, this is real time, like taking action. What right now can you identify about yourself? And you don't have to say it out loud, but what's that thing that's holding you back from taking that next step or going to that next level, starting your podcast, taking your business to the next level, going into a new division? Maybe you're doing right now, but you want to be teaching. What's stopping? You're smiling. You already have identified something. And I can relate this back to David encouraging me to start the Full Transparency podcast. And it took about 6 months of just really saying, Donnie, you should do it, you should do it, you should do it. Well, most people assumed that my fear was doing a podcast without Dave. And that wasn't the fear. I've always thought that I would be the next Oprah Winfrey, right? Like, give me the mic and a chair, set me up, and let me go ham. But when I started to do Social Proof Podcast, and I know everything that goes along with it, I know that one of the dynamics that make us so great is the fact that we are together. And I wasn't afraid of sitting in front of a camera and talking and, solo episodes. That's not it. Do people want to see me without Dave sitting next to me?
You never told me that.
Yeah, I did.
Wow.
The dynamic of Dave and Donnie is powerful. Y'all wasn't rocking with it at first, but then you grew to absolutely love it. You love it so much Now, if we create this separation and it's just Donnie, even though I know what I'm talking about, do you want to see me by myself? That was one thing. That was one fear that I had to get over in order to do it. The second thing was knowing me and my level of procrastination. Am I going to stick with this to deliver episodes week after week after week? Do I want to give myself another task that forces me to challenge myself in an area that I have struggled in all my life? That meant that in order to do this, in order to execute on it, I had to face a challenge and correct it. I have to show up because now we've put it out, and if I miss an episode, which won't happen, you guys are holding me accountable, and then I'll lose viewership because it's like, oh, okay, she was consistent, now she's not anymore. If David and I didn't put out the Social Proof podcast every single week, we weren't consistent, we didn't show up for ourselves, you would find someone else to watch. So there's two things with this new idea, and I'm saying it this way because most of you, raise your hand if you already have a business. Keep your hand raised if there's a new direction that you know you need to go into in your business. Put them down if you don't. All right. So most of you already have an existing idea, but you know there's something you should be doing, whether it's starting your own podcast, whether it's building your authority so that you can become a coach or a consultant, whether it's you know now that you need to stop just trying to let ads sell for you and you actually need to take sales calls. You're afraid to get on that phone. You don't think you know what to say, but you're not preparing for it. You're instead hiding and running from it, so you never get to confront that fear, that thing that's uncomfortable for you. I want you to take a note right now. If you're taking notes on paper, I want you to write down three things that have consistently shown up and held you back from going to another level. There's this challenge again. Sometimes it's procrastination. I've been talking to a lot of people lately who are still kind of in that mode. They're so confused about where their next move should be in life that they are I'm still attracting a lot of people who are depressed. Mm-hmm. And I think it's because I shared my journey of depression last year, and going through that journey with everybody, that now y'all are comfortable talking to me about depression, right?
Manifested the people?
I manifested these people. They saw. So one thing about me.
Why'd you manifest these people?
Let me talk. Okay, that's what we're gonna do right now.
Why would you manifest?
Let me just
depression?
Because I overcame it. I overcame depression, and I manifested people who need to see a real life example of what overcoming looks like.
I'm sorry. Can I ask a question? I want you to go. I want you to keep going.
You can ask a question.
Put your finger
I got
down.
something in my eye. I'm sorry.
So did you start with saying, "Yo, I want to attract depressed people"? Was that the beginning of the manifestation?
So the manifestation is something that I say every single day, usually in the shower, and it's God use me for whomever you see fit for me to use me right now, right? And so my brand and my whole life really is attached to, I used to do this for me. I used to do this. I used to build and chase dreams to make sure first I could survive and not have to work. That was like first. Like, I never want to work in corporate America again. First. Second was to provide a life for my mother and my daughter. Done, right? Now I realize, remember last year I went through a series of just, I'm not feeling it. I didn't know what was causing this depression. And it was because I realized that I was still serving myself. And my purpose is to serve other people. And if you're purpose driven like me and like you know that it can't just be about you. It's bigger than you. It's bigger than your cousins, your aunties, your grandparents, all of that. You have to leverage your success in a way that serves people in a grand way, right? And so I got back to that. My point in talking about, you were asking about my lesson for the week, I've still been attracting a lot of you guys who are suffering and struggling with depression. And I just want to give you a little bit of encouragement. You guys know that I'm a wordsmith and I love to break words down. And it just came to me this morning, really. If you write down the word depression, you can't see it here. If you write down the word depression, just do it in your phone really quick. Write down the word depression, and you're experiencing this. If you're watching this on camera, I want you to write it down on paper. And I want you to look at depression a little differently, because you're looking at me and saying, Donnie, I'm so depressed. I don't know what to do. I want to quit. I want to give up. When I was struggling with depression last year, I never wanted to quit. I never wanted to get up. I wanted to get past it. I wanted to figure out how to get on the other side of it. There's never been a moment that I ever wanted to quit. And I need you to understand that that's the only difference between you and I. Now, if you look at the word depression and we do word scramble and we choose to use this word, our situation right now, to create our solution, guys, your solution is always hidden in the situation, okay? You take the words out. We're going to start with the letter I. Write the letter I.
Let me do this. You don't need to do it too?
Nope, because I got it. It's in my head.
That's good.
We got the word depression written out. We're going to scramble these letters. We're going to start with the word I. Next word, put a space in between it. We're on. Next letter is P. Same word. Next letter is R. E. S. S. E. D. Next word, O. N. What does that say? I pressed on. Your solution is always hidden in your situation, right? Even down to the word saw. Right now, many of you are seeing your own circumstances for what they are. You see the lack, you see the house you don't like, you see the car you don't want to drive, you see the money, the situation that you're in, you don't want to be there. You saw it. If you reverse that word, and that word it ends up being was. When you look at yourself and who I am right now, I had to become. Who was Donnie Wiggins? Who did she have to become to change what she saw? If you are struggling with depression right now, I want you to not think about, I'm stuck here. I can't get out of this. I can't get out of bed every single day. That's the difference between me and you. It takes a certain level of strength and it takes a certain level of belief to know that I'm in this situation right now, but I pressed on. Your solution is hidden right here in your situation. You want better money? You want a new house? You want a new car? You want a new opportunity? It's all, you got the answers. You have everything that you need right now. God has already revealed it to you, but you hadn't recognized it because you're so stuck in what is actually happening right now.
Were y'all waiting on her to come? Why did she stand y'all up? Do you have questions for her? Were you gonna be like, yo, I thought you was gonna be on there. What happened?
Have you seen me several times on the morning meetup?
We're not talking about, we're talking about this past, we're talking about yesterday.
In the years that I have coached on the morning meetup, I have never missed or been late.
Can't say that anymore.
However, yesterday, let me tell you guys, I am on this detox and this workout regimen that is taking a toll on my entire life.
Why don't you say sorry instead of coming up with excuses?
I did already say sorry to you.
You're giving me a whole... Now I'm talking about to them.
I'm explaining because you called me out. Like, I'm not going to be unreliable.
No.
I apologize.
Let me ask you a question. If your client came on and you said, I missed the call, right? Your client misses your coaching session.
I
say, man, I got the baby and I got to do this and I got to do that. And also this happened. I got this call and then this happened. And that's why I couldn't make it. Do you say, I get it, I understand? Or you're like,
yes,
why are you giving me all these excuses?
Actually. If my client has been working with me for at least, 4 years or so, how long has the morning meetup been around?
Proceed.
Okay. If my client has been working with me for at least 4 years and this is the one time that something happened and they came and said, the baby, this, that, and the other, I would totally understand it and grant them grace. In this case, I'm on this brand new detox, this brand new vegan diet, and I worked out like crap the night before. So I could not go to bed before 3 o'clock in the morning. The morning meetup is at 8 a.m. I did wake up in time for it, but I did that. Let me just lay down real quick. I got time.
Oh, yeah, that'll get you.
And I was out of there. Yeah, I called myself laying down and responding to my emails. And my phone is in Do Not Disturb, so I didn't even get the text messages.
Oh, sure, I called mad
So when
times
I woke up, my phone was like on my chest, my head hanging off the bed. I was like, oh my God. So David told me that he's banned me from coming on because we're like that on the podcast. If you're a guest on the podcast and call no show, it's a wrap. You're banned.
Yeah, you're good.
Am I banned?
No, you're not banned.
Do you want to disappoint the people?
I don't want to disappoint
them. They like me.
It's all good. No,
so I'm going to teach this. So I don't want you to use this information.
Yo, do not come on my call talking about no desire.
Okay. when you're thinking about who can help you, make sure you're going to people who actually can help you,
That's a
right?
bar.
Not people that you like to necessarily talk to. Sometimes you may have to get outside of your circle. For example, some of us grew up in households where we didn't learn a whole lot about money. We saw our parents struggling to pay bills. Anybody in here can relate to that?
Definitely.
Yes. So would it be a wise choice to go to mom or dad and say, Mom or Dad, how do I create a budget? We didn't grow up in a house with parents who had good budgeting skills. If you grew up in a home with parents who had terrible credit, why would you go to them for credit advice? But your best friend's father has excellent credit. Maybe go to that best friend's father. Like, when you're determining who can help you, it's also very important to identify who's unqualified to help you as well.
It's equally
And
important.
in this case, where you're wanting to do more, like, I don't know about you, I don't know about any of you, but at a time, I've been in circles of people that I outgrew, right? And I wanted to start doing some bigger things with my life. I wanted to start making some better decisions, but I stayed stuck in the same situations, making the same decisions, getting the same results, because I'm still asking these same friends. Like, I want to move beyond what this friendship offers, but right now you're the only friend, so I can only ask you, and you're giving me all of this advice. That's terrible advice, because you're not even thinking on that level, nor have you experienced it. When you're asking people for help, it should be someone that has experienced something close or significant enough to what it is that you're trying to accomplish. Very, very, very important. You, in your own mind, can't get the result that you've never had.
That's a fact.
You can't. You can't. I didn't get to where I am. You didn't get to where you are thinking on your own mind. Along the way, we've taken courses and we've learned to incorporate what somebody else thought. We've gotten mentors and we learned to incorporate what they thought. You being who you are right now, where you are in your life, is exactly the place that you're supposed to be in, because it's in direct alignment with what you think and how you're thinking right now. If you want to get past that part, we have to start adapting different thought processes. And the best way, the fastest way, the most significant way is to find your who.
Yes.
There's a book called Who Not How. I forget the author. Is that Dan?
What's the name? Sullivan?
Is that Dan Sullivan?
Dan
Sullivan. Who Not How. Everybody needs that book. Being paid by systems to work. Being paid by systems to work, which is the ultimate level that you want to get to, right? It is not the easiest level to get to. Most of us, entrepreneur or not, will start off by being paid by someone else to work via a job, right? Most of us started a job somewhere, whether you were cutting grass or you had an actual W-2 job, right? And that's where we all start. And honestly, we want to respect that part of the process, because your job will teach you certain principles and values and operations and processes that help you to become a good entrepreneur. Here's the thing. It is easier to be a good entrepreneur when you were a good employee.
That's a fact.
It's not required that you be a good employee to be a good entrepreneur, but it is easier to be a good entrepreneur if you were first a good employee. If you were a person who lacked work ethic and your employer couldn't trust you to show up on time, to be working while you were on the clock, to do the job and get the result, why would your client trust you to show up on time, to do the work on time, and to deliver the result? Guys, the energy that you put out will always reciprocate. Even if you feel like you got lucky and you hit the jackpot and you sucked as an employee and you're making it as an entrepreneur, it's going to come back and pay you somehow. Might not be through your performance, but it might be when you're ready to start hiring people, then you get terrible employees because of the type of employee you were, right? Or you don't know how to be an effective leader because you didn't know how to be a great follower. So if you are working, we said this once before, change the thought process, right? If you're working and you want to work your way off of the job, immediately stop saying that you hate your job. Immediately. Because as David said once, the money that you make on your job is the investment capital that you need to create your business. Why wouldn't you respect that? Wouldn't you respect an investor? When you get an investor in your business, are you going to do everything you can to please said investor? Let me make sure we got the reports right. Let me make sure I'm executing. Let me make sure your job is your first investment into your business. And last Thursday. Mm-hmm. And
when did it happen before that?
January of last year.
It's crazy.
Yep. So a year later, I get hacked. A little bit more than a year later, I get hacked. But the first time it happened, I think was because I used public Wi-Fi in Dubai. And when I came back, I had all these notifications of like child pornography and things that were coming from the UAE. So that happened somewhere over there. Whatever, my bad. This time, when I woke up on Thursday, I kept getting all these DMs. Well, I saw I had all these DMs and people were asking like, well, you didn't ask for the Cash App, or what should I do next? What should I do next? And so I started replying like, what are you talking about? And they were sending me screenshots of this other page. So my page was Donnie Wiggins _. Somebody created Donnie Wiggins __, which on Instagram, it pretty much looks the same. And they were basically running a money scam, telling people, some people, they were telling them that they won a prize. Some people, they were talking in my voice and were saying things like, hey, you know that I'm eliminating some of my coaching offers, but if you Cash App me $500 right now, I'll coach you for the next 30 days. And people were Cash Apping $500 and then coming to my DMs asking what's next. And I'm like, oh, you got scammed. So that page started to get reported. Well, I've since met someone at Facebook, and what they ended up doing, that person who created the page has a Facebook business manager, which if you have a Facebook business manager, you kind of have some hierarchy in the usage lineup. And they went in and reported that I was impersonating them and making terroristic threats. And I literally just got the report back from Facebook.
Are they going to be able to restore
today?
it?
I don't know, because they said that I was making terroristic threats. So I was literally on Facebook trying to post a story to tell people to go report this page. And my Facebook blanks out. I mean, my Instagram blanks out and says your account has been disabled.
Wow.
And click here if you want to, try to verify your account. If we think you can verify it, we'll let you know in 24 hours. So that was almost a week ago at this point. Mm-hmm. And so your sister, Jeter, said that she had someone who could help me get my page back. So we've had him working on it. And it just so happened that somebody who watches the podcast was looking for me, and he found me. He said, hey, I work for Facebook. He showed me his credentials. And so he just started working on it yesterday. He doesn't work in the fraud department, but he escalated it because Instagram won't even give me the option.
Can he verify me?
No.
How do you know?
Because he doesn't, he's like tech support.
But he knows somebody in there.
I'll ask him.
You ask him?
I'll ask him about verification. Great. You asked me how I felt.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I got real selfish right there. My bad.
When it happened, I said, here we go with this again. And I just knew that because that page had like 400 followers and mine was literally at 19,900 something followers. I'm like, I'm almost at 20,000 followers. It's a no-brainer. Well, when I didn't get the email, I'm like, okay, forget it. So you called me, you texted me and was like, yo, what's up with your Instagram? Because you were trying to tag me in the podcast. You're like, what's up with your Instagram? And I'm like, got hacked again. You called me and you were like, all right, so what's the move? What's the new Instagram account? And I'm like, oh, I'm done. I am done.
She's out
I said, if they don't, Instagram said, Facebook and Instagram, if you hear me say it, they're interchangeable. They're the same company. I said, if they don't send me an email saying that they need my ID to verify myself and it's coming back, I'm out of this. Like, I'm going to just keep doing the podcast and maybe jump on LinkedIn, go back to Facebook. And David said, nope, absolutely not. That's not what we're doing. And I'm like, well, I'm not angry about it or anything. I'm exhausted, like with this hacking stuff. Like, you can work so hard to build this community. And then it's just as easy as like Instagram has no real filter if somebody beats you to the punch of claiming that you're a fraud and terroristic. They just shut it down. So anyway, David said, nope. And I was sitting in my car. I had just pulled up in my parking deck. And I said, all right, give me 5 minutes. I'm going to go upstairs and create another page. And so the same day that I was hacked, we created the new page. And it's fine. I'm still not upset about it.
It's Coach Donnie Wiggins, right?
Yeah, it's Coach Donnie Wiggins. Coach, CoachDonniWiggins.
Listen, there are thousands of people that are watching this. I'm asking you all to follow Coach Donnie. Don't just listen to the podcast. Don't just enjoy it. Just go follow Coach Donnie Wiggins, okay? We need y'all to, I need Donnie back excited about this.
Yeah, I'm not excited. I'm absolutely, I haven't given up. Like, I'm super resilient. So we're still there and we're going to do what has to be done, right? But what I am most disappointed about is like losing my swipe up feature. That's like a really big deal. And I had just earned badges on my live videos. And I never transferred the money that I had for my live videos.
Oh.
So I just, I don't know if that'll come back if I get the page. But it's cool. Hackers work incredibly hard. They have amazing work ethic and brilliant skill sets, right? And if they would just, hey, listen, hacker, if you're even thinking about hacking me again, if you just reach out to me for like a job, I got those available. And 100%. It would probably be more lucrative. I really do. Like, you guys have amazing work ethic and you're brilliant. Like, I would really teach you how to legitimize that.
Yeah.
I work with former scammers and dope boys, and you know what I mean? It's just, it's a lane for that, for real.
Yeah, 100%. So why were you okay losing your social media?
I wasn't tripping because I have built a strong text community. So the people who, of the tens of thousands of followers that you may have, you may only have a couple hundred that actually do business with you.
Sure.
Of the hundreds of thousands of followers that you may have, you may only have a couple thousand that do business with you. The people who do business with me are connected to me through a platform that I have ownership in. I was just telling somebody today to start their text list. My clients, the Hartzogs, in fact, I was telling them to really get intentional about text lists. Stop only, like when you're going live and when you're posting, your only call to action should not be click the link in my bio, because literally in a split second, your bio can disappear. So instead, your call to action now should be email me, or which is so inconvenient right now. Just text me the word such and such and such. That way, when something happens, when Instagram goes down, I can't go to Instagram and say, okay, well, I get that you guys are not going to give me my page back, but can you at least export me a CSV file with all my followers and their contact information? I can't do that on Instagram. But on my text app, I use Community. Even if my text app goes down, we get an exported list. Like every 2 weeks, we download a new exported list of all of my text. Yes. Every 2 weeks I do this. The reason being is because Community, is still new and it's still kind of manual. And you have to email them for this list. And the reason that I do that is because if people unsubscribe for the list, I have no evidence that they were ever there. So every 2 weeks, we go in and we download the CSV file. So even if my community platform, my text platform blanked out, I still got all y'all phone numbers and email addresses.
Words are spells.
They are.
Words are spells. Literally, every word that you speak. This is why I'm always telling you guys it's so important. Affirmations are powerful because words are nothing more than spells that you are casting over your life. You're literally speaking your circumstances into existence.
You spell words.
You better.
Caught that. You spell words.
Spell words. And that's why it's called spelling. Like early on in primary education, you take spelling class. You have spelling lessons. Words are we spell words. We cast spells. We cast spells every day through our words. So you think you're saying things when you're responding to something funny and say, "Oh my God, I'm a die." Shut up. Stop saying that. You think it's funny when you're telling people like, "Oh my God, I hate this so much. I hate you so much." Like, stop talking like that, because these little things that you think that you're doing that are trendy and funny and cool, you are literally speaking life or death into your own circumstances.
Oftentimes, it's not even the thing that you wrote down on your paper that you're afraid of. And I could even challenge what Dave is saying when you said, my fear at the time was having to go back to the Cheesecake Factory. It's even a step further than that. It's not really having to go back to the Cheesecake Factory that you were afraid of, because you were already accustomed to that environment. You were afraid of the judgment that you would receive by going back to the Cheesecake Factory. So many of you wrote something down on your paper that really isn't the fear. 90% of what you're fearing is connected to, well, if somebody else recognizes this flaw in me, if somebody else recognizes this failure in me, what are they going to think? What are they going to think if I go from driving a Mercedes-Benz back to driving a Nissan Altima? What are they going to think if I'm an entrepreneur today? If I scale my business and hire this team and it doesn't work, and I have to go back and get a job, or I no longer have an assistant, what are the people that I'm so worried about going to say about me? How am I going to be judged? You're afraid of judgment. And a way that I overcame being afraid of judgment, I wrote down the names of the people that would judge me. I wrote down the names of the people that would judge me. And then next to their name, I wrote out the great thing that they've done that was so impactful that their judgment actually mattered. I don't want you to miss that. Most of the time, we are afraid of being judged by people for trying something. These people haven't tried a thing. And you can say it, and you've heard that somewhere before. You've heard that already. But it wasn't until I'm such an action taker. I have to write it down. Sometimes I have to see it in front of me. I heard it before. I heard somebody say, don't worry about being judged by somebody who ain't doing anything with their lives. You're worried about your next move in your business by somebody who's never started a business. You're worried about showing somebody that you have to pivot in your business when they're still on the same job, underpaid, complaining about that same coworker over that same coffee machine in that same break room, pulling up to that same environment that drains them every single day. I want you right now, write down 3 names of people that you're afraid to be judged by. And then next to their name, write down what you know to be their greatest accomplishment. He said, I'm blank.
I actually had a plan too. Because I did run this scenario in my head that if I had to go to the Cheesecake, like if I had to go back to Cheesecake Factory, because it's a chain, I'll just go to one in another city. Don't nobody know me. That was a real plan of mine.
That's a fact.
I was like, let me just move to Kansas.
I did the same thing. I thought
I was going.
When I left my job in 2014, I was so afraid. I had moved my mom, I had moved myself into this luxury high-rise apartment building, right? Condo building. And I got real froggy. I moved my mama in too. I had her completely walk away from her home to move her into this condo building. And then I had the audacity to quit the job that allowed me to be in that position. And my mom didn't believe necessarily at that point in entrepreneurship. So I had to hide from my mom. I had to hide the possible failure from my mom. You ever been like at home, I don't know, in any environment, especially like when you were a kid and your parents come in the room and you were chilling, you were laying back, and you got to jump up real quick and act like you were doing some work? That's like the energy that my mom gave me. When we lived together, anytime I heard her coming down the hall, I could not rest because I knew that every second she didn't see me moving, I was being judged. Now, my mom is a person that means the world to me. And I said that in 2014, when I left my job, if all else fails, Uber drivers were getting paid back in the day. I'm going to drive on the other side of town. Nobody lives in Ackworth that I know. I'm going all the way 45 minutes away, and I'm Uber driving every single day because it has to work or it has to work. There's always a backup plan. There's always a strategy that's available, but I didn't do that. Instead, I had to come to terms with, I understand that my mom is judging me, but I watched my mom over the years start a business and stop it, start a business and stop it, start a business and stop it. Here I am starting the business, and when things get hard, I keep going. And then I start another thing, and when things get hard there, I keep going. And then I have an obstacle that I'm confronted with, and guess what? I overcome it. And then another obstacle that I'm confronted with, and I overcome that too. And so I realized there's a distinct difference. I cannot be afraid of what my mom thinks about me in business because it looks a lot different than what I am actually doing. Seriously, think about those people that you are so fearful of being judged by. Most of you as parents, some of you as your spouse, others of you as your best friends. How dare you be afraid of being judged by friends who have less than you, who are doing less than you, who want less than you? We were talking about this backstage, about raising the bar for ourselves. Everybody say, raise the bar. I'm going to be honest with you. Most of your bars are in the trash. He said, what? Word? Most of your bars are set so low. You only want this. If I could just do that. If I could only get this. What's the saying? If you aim for the stars, if you aim for the moon, you'll land on the stars. Most of you have earth level bars. You're not even aiming for the moon. Your bar is being set by the standard that somebody else gave you. My bar could have been the standard that my parents set for me. Go to school, become a chemical engineer. Black women are killing it in that industry, making all the money. You go to school, you graduate with that degree, you'll work in somebody's factory, and you're gonna make $75,000 a year. That could have been my bar. Compared to what I've actually done and accomplished by betting on myself, would you agree that that bar could have been in the trash? I could have settled for $75,000, or I could be the Donnie Wiggins today that made 7 figures. Which bar are you setting for yourself? What's your floor? What's your ceiling? There's a billionaire who says, I could have went for 7 figures. My bar would have been on the floor. I knew that I would become a billionaire earner. There's a trillionaire who's saying, 7 figures, laughable. Your bar, not only are your goals and your results based on somebody else, most of the time the things that you're aspiring to be are created by evidence of something that you saw somebody else doing. You come into rooms like this and you see people up here. You saw TJ on stage talking about real estate and how to acquire real estate. And now, anybody in here inspired to another level to go out there and make money in real estate? Raise your hand. Your bar in that area, your goal, your desire is set based on information that he gave you. You need more TJs, more Georges, more Carters, more Davids, more Donnies. Your bar right now is set based on those people who are judging you. I would love to if I could highlight. I have 2 clients in the room. Let's give it up for the Hartzogs. And first of all, they drove all the way from Dallas to be here, but I believe that they are one of the dopest examples of getting paid from other people's work. They have created a cleaning service, right? A cleaning company. But they don't own any cleaning supplies. They don't clean any units. They don't even know how to clean because they don't clean. People clean for them. So they have figured out how to leverage people who love cleaning, and they have generated multiple 6 figures hand over fist from this service. So back in March, they contacted me and hired me to be their coach because they wanted to earn, the number was $100,000 from their course in March to now teach people how you can go out and create a cleaning business without owning any cleaning supplies or anything.
How did y'all find Donnie though? Real quick. Really?
First of all,
I promise I didn't know that.
You know it.
I was making a point, and I'll make a point in just a minute, but go ahead.
Okay. It was the podcast. And then we met at the Content Creation Bootcamp, but we had just okay. So because I want to highlight them for this, and then I want you guys, y'all can make y'all's way to the mic because I kind of want to hear about why you did this. again, they contacted me in March. They want to know how can we help more people start cleaning businesses without owning any cleaning products. Like, if you could do that, fantastic. So in March, they had sold $4,000. The highest they'd ever done in a month was $4,000 in course sales, right? They came and they said, Donnie, we need to make $100,000. They just last month or earlier this month closed out at $100,000 so far this year. And this is the importance of so getting paid from what other people do, right? And now you can teach how you own a barber shop and you get paid for other people's hands. So if you want to take a vacation for your birthday month for 30 days, you have successfully made six figures with your barbershop. And now you can create a course or a program and you can help other people understand, other barbers who look just like you, now that I've gotten paid for what other people are doing. When they told me that their goal was $100,000 and I saw that their concept was a cleaning business without owning cleaning products, I said, this is genius. I'm gonna write you a little measly $100,000 down, but we're gonna laugh at this because you're gonna make way more. And now the goal is 250. Well, that's what we said, but they're gonna do 300 this year.
Let's go. Let's go.
Right? Tell us about what you do and how you leverage other people's talents to make money.
So, long story short, my name is Anthony.
Come closer.
Look closer.
And I'm Janoka. Go ahead.
So, we started a six-figure cleaning business, and the goal was, like Donnie said, was to leverage other people's expertise. I don't clean. She doesn't clean. We hate cleaning. So we pretty much are just like Airbnb, Uber, Lyft. There's a service that needs to be provided. There's a person who does the service, and we match them together, and we take a profit from that.
You can continue.
That's it.
So what we do is we use contractors to clean. We hire them and they go out and do the jobs, basically. So that's why we don't own any cleaning supplies. We basically connect the customer with the contractor. They go do the job and we charge the customer, and that's how we get paid.
When did things change for you?
Let's see. In the cleaning business itself?
Like, when did it start making money? When did it start picking up?
So we started in November 2017, and I would say it probably started picking up about October 2018 for us.
Gotcha.
That's really when it started picking up. We started putting more marketing dollars into it, to be honest.
At the height of the pandemic in March, we had more time, and we said, we want to make this course.
Yeah.
People kept asking about it. We started posting more content, and they kept asking the same questions, and I said, let's do a course. And she was like, nah, I'm not with it.
Yeah.
So she like wasn't with it.
We went on live and we spoke about the cleaning business. I said, if you could get 10 sales, we didn't have the course at all.
We had no concept.
If you get 10 sales pre-selling this, then we'll do it. We got 15.
Yep.
So then we did the course and launched it June 1st of last year, and then started with Donnie March of this year.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Clap it up. Clap it up.
So when it comes to this model, how many things could you have done, but then you said, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. So maybe you're a graphic designer and you're saying, I am tired of designing. I don't want to design anymore. Do you have the platform for exposure where people are consistently coming to you for this job? And now can you go out and find contract graphic designers to come and complete these jobs for your clients, and you're making this money hand over fist? They make too much money with a business doing a thing that they hate doing. They don't clean themselves. You guys did what? 400?
So far, our sales with the cleaning business, we're about like at 750.
Yeah, we're close to 800,000.
Yeah. So by the end of this year, beginning of next year, it'll be $1 million business.
Wow.
They don't clean.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. So what can you do? Those of you who are, look, she's turning around like, wait, let me get back to my notes because I know it was something that, what can you do? You're looking for a way to make money. You don't think you have a skill. You don't think you have a talent, or maybe you know you have it. You haven't figured out how to monetize it. Is there something that you can do to get paid from other people's talent? Like, there are people who love to clean. There are people who love to do the thing that you hate. Can you leverage your exposure or your likeness and say, hey, let me get a contractor to do this. I'm going to take a commission from it. Is that a fair business model? 2016 and 2017, I decided that I wanted to be totally for women. My analytics looked just like this at that time. I wanted to be totally for women. I'm doing all women stuff. I'm catering to my girls. Guys, I'm sorry. I'll refer you to David or whatever the case may be. Well, business started to go down. And I was like, well, my girls didn't show up for me the way that I thought they would. I didn't decipher my analytics the way I should have. My audience is 50-50. There's not enough of a discrepancy there to say that I need to be in one area or not. So that's when it clicked for me. Like, you don't have to be a business coach or an empowerment coach just for women. You're just a business coach and an empowerment coach for a certain type of business, not necessarily a certain gender. And that is a plug, because I get people all the time who will do a strategy call with me or my team, or they're in coaching and they're like, oh, well, I teach women how to bake. Okay. Or I teach men how to be more emotional. Well, tell me why just men, or tell me why just women. And they never really have a good enough reason other than I have a passion for men or I have a passion for women. Well, what do your analytics say? What do your analytics say? Do you have a male audience? Sell to them.
Let me see.
What do you think it means to manifest?
You do have to talk louder though. Don't she? Is she low?
First of all,
you got a cold?
I am talking the way I always talk. Don't start with me today, because you're about to go down the line of trying to embarrass me.
No, I'm not.
And I will cut you.
Manifestation definition. Clear or obvious to the eye or mind. Okay. Display or show a quality feeling by one's acts, appearance, demonstrate. It's not even a real definition for this word.
To manifest something means...
I don't think the culture created it.
To manifest something means to make something happen, to make something certain, right? And I still think you don't understand manifestation. You believe that manifestation is this dream that you can just dream and make it real. You say, oh, I want to raise $100 million, and boom, $100 million happens. It's still faith and work together, right, in order to achieve the result. So to manifest something is simply a system in which you first have a thought that's followed by an intention, or maybe the intention comes before the thought, either way. But you have an intentional thought about something. This is what I would like to accomplish in my life. These are the things that I want to achieve. And then you maybe think on it over and over again. Maybe you write it down. Maybe you're somebody who journals and you're writing it down. And eventually it's like, once you think on an idea long enough, you start to believe it, right? You start to believe that idea. You start to believe that you can have these things.
You start to manifest the belief.
No, you have the belief. You create the belief. The belief happens first. So it's not even that. You manifest becoming the person to act on that belief. So you have a thought, I want $100 million. Right now, today, what we have in place, we probably don't have what it takes to get the $100 million, but you've put that thought out there. The intent is to take this $100 million and build a bigger, better clubhouse, right? Now that we've put that out there, now we have to start doing the work. Now we have to start, now the idea is here, just like it was for the clubhouse. The idea is here. We got to get this $100 million, $100 million, $100 million, $100 million. Now what we're going to do is be so intentional in our thoughts that every opportunity, every new relationship, we're going to be looking at, is this person a seed for this goal?
Yes.
And eventually we will begin to attract, because the energy that we're putting out there matches the thought and the desire. Then we start to do the work.
Before you quit or give up, you should consider who else will be affected from me quitting. Who else quits? Who else loses because I decided to quit? And how much is the pain of them losing with you worth to you? Right? So who else is affected? Couple of examples. Some of you may have children. If you quit and you don't continue to pursue your dream, what kind of life does the as is you provide your kids? If you quit, what kind of example do you fail to set for the friends around you that you see so much potential in, they need to do so much better, and you're that friend? If you quit, do they continue to quit? Who else stands to lose based on your decisions? For me, if I quit and I stayed the same, if I quit right now, my daughter stands to lose. My mom stands to lose. My friends stand to lose because just simply being associated with me provides something to their lifestyle. My employees stand to lose. If I quit right now, I am affecting dozens of lives. And then not even thinking about the lives of the people who I impact that I'll never ever get to speak to, but you're watching, you're looking, you're listening, and it's something about Donnie Wiggins and who she is today that's driving you, that keeps you going. All of those people stand to lose. If you quit on life, I hear people say sometimes who have survived like a suicide attempt. I hear them say that at that moment, their thoughts are so cloudy that nobody else's pain matters to them. Nobody else's pain. They can't think of anybody else. And I'm imagining that it feels that way, like in business, when you're just so burnt out. I saw a clip from a podcast yesterday, and it's going around on Instagram right now. I forget whose podcast it is. It might be Academics, where this guy says, I have been looking for good people for so long. I'm just tired. And he asked him, like, you that tired that you're ready to quit? And this big grown man just starts crying on this podcast. He's like, I am tired. And I wanted to be in that audience and raise my hand and say, but wait, don't get so tired that you just give it all up. Who else is going to lose? What could you continuing to search for these people that you need in your life, that result? Who else could benefit from that? Who can hear your story right now and they're feeling like you and you're ready to quit and you're justifying quitting for them and they jump too. They quit too. What if you just keep going long enough to be so powerful and so impactful that a nation of people keep going because of your decision to keep going?
You have systems.
Being paid by systems to work.
Yep.
Being paid by systems to work. So now you've got people in place, but you also have automations in place. So what about what you do can you automate, right? What can you delegate and what can you automate? So maybe you do high ticket sales and your business requires sales calls. And you're doing the sales calls. Can you now hire a sales team? Systems, people think that systems are all technology, and systems are not technology. Systems are simply a way that something is done over and over and over and over again. So identify what are the repetitive tasks that are happening in your business. What happens every single day on a frequency? And then ask yourself, how can I simplify this process? Is it people? Is it a software? Is it a process? How can I simplify it? So I know commonly many entrepreneurs want to engage their clients via email and text messages. Well, make your life easier and put a system in place for that and pre-schedule emails. If you're sending out revenue generating emails, let's go ahead and pre-schedule those. How can you pre-plan your content? That's a process, that's a part of a system, right? Instead of taking notes on paper, what kind of client management software can you use now to digitally track your clients and their progress? SOPs. What kind of processes and workflows can you put together so that you can train everybody? So SOPs are really great for two really good reasons,
You
right?
want to share what SOPs are?
I'm sorry, standard operating procedures, the way you do something in your business or the way you get to the result. So you want SOPs for two primary reasons. Number one, you want them to make sure that the people who are working in your business are all operating by the same code of business. And number two, you want SOPs in place to make sure that your clients and customers are served the same way. You don't want somebody to get Jacob on a sales call and they get a 10-minute call and, it was in Jacob's voice. And then somebody else gets Stephanie on a call and it's a 45-minute call and they got the whole shebang, red carpet laid out for them. The SOPs is a part of a process, which is a part of a system that makes sure that your employees are all marching to the beat of the same drum and your customers and clients are all getting the same experience. So right now, what are 3 things that you can begin working on automating and delegating right away in your business. And start with the thing that you're doing that you're not so great at doing, and it makes you money. What are you doing that is that you need to make money and you're not so great at doing it, but you've been trying to DIY yourself there forever? Let's put a system in place for it. So for example, me, tech. I'm capable of doing tech. I was an engineering major. I decided a very long time ago that I don't want to be bothered with tech. I don't like to sit at the computer and just be deep in the details and figuring stuff out. I'm gonna pay somebody to do that, right? But for so long before I could pay somebody to do that, I was trying to figure out how to set up these workflows, and then it's a disaster and all this good stuff. And then I took a course that taught me how to put a system in place. I got coaching from someone that taught me how to put certain systems in place. Tech was important, and it was the first thing that I delegated and automated, because without my sales funnels and without my landing pages, I don't have a way to communicate my message. I don't have a way for people to go and do business with me, right? So that's something. Maybe you're taking payments via Cash App. Oh, just Cash App me, PayPal me. No. Let's put a system in place. How can you collect money like a professional? But not only are you collecting money, you're collecting data, because when you're using like a Stripe or however you're getting paid, Square, whatever it is, they're collecting your customer data. They're collecting names, emails, phone numbers, locations. You're getting so much more data. It's a growth task. It's a responsibility that you have to make sure that you have a good system in place for accepting payment. Team meetings, that's a system. Your team isn't operating to your beat. They don't know what's going on. You're constantly texting everybody individually. No, routine and regular team meetings. That is a system that you have in place in your business.
Write that down. You got to get around people who see it bigger. When I wanted to make 6 figures, I started to hang with people who made 6 figures. When I wanted to make 7 figures, I started to hang around people who made 7 figures. As simple as when I wanted to become an entrepreneur, I had to stop hanging around people who weren't actively pursuing entrepreneurship or already were entrepreneurs. Many of us are held back just by our own network, just by our own circle. Like if you're doing what somebody close to you is doing, you feel like you're doing good enough. Bars on the floor. You're hanging around people that you're doing better than, and so you think you're excelling and you're doing great. Bars in the trash. Because look at what you're comparing your result to. Time is not on our side. You guys know that, right? Like right now, we are in the middle of the best of our years. We are literally experiencing the best of our years. You have your best health. You have your best physical abilities. You have your best mindset.
My physical ability was a little bit, about 10 years ago, I could dunk. I used to be able to dunk. So I challenge you on the physical.
You were never able to dunk anything.
I just said I'm not in my best physical.
Let me say this.
I just want to challenge you right there.
If this could be your bar.
My knees are different.
This could be your bar. The person who goes to the gym once a week and touches a machine for 2 minutes.
10.
This could be your bar. The person who is determined to be in the best physical shape of her life at age 44. And to do that, I'm working out every single day. Well, now 5 days a week.
I didn't know she was 44, did you? Go on, clap it up for being elderly and fine. Just fine and elderly.
Seriously, and even if I'm not, like, I'm probably not doing backflips and all that stuff like I was when I was a cheerleader, but I really feel like I'm in the best shape of my life. Do you know why I feel like I'm in the best shape of my life?
Why?
Because there was a period of like 3 years when I was in the worst shape of my life, and now I'm in such I'm in such more of a better position because I'm actually doing the work. Like I made a decision, and that's what many of you have to do.
What's your next step and where you got to go? Write it down. Where do you immediately need to go? Put it in your phone, write it down. We should see all hands, fingers moving. Where do you immediately need to go right now? Raise your hand if the place that you need to go to get to the next level in your business, you've needed to go there for more than a year. It's been like a rolling thought. Raise them high. We're not judging, kind of, but raise them high. I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs and they're always looking for marketing strategies, right? And they want to get paid marketing strategies, but then they don't have any money. They don't know how to run ads and they don't have any money to pay a marketing team to run ads. And so then they say, well, my business has halted. It's at a standstill because I can't run ads. When I launched my signature program, I attempted to run ads, and for Facebook's reason, they banned and blocked and disabled my entire business manager. At this time, I cannot run ads, and it's been more than a year.
Still can't.
Still can't run ads. I have made more money in this last year than I have in one consecutive year in my entire history of doing business because I didn't care. If I can't run ads, I'm going to do something else. So what's stopping you? You don't know how to run ads. You don't have the budget for a marketing agency. Can you do a podcast? Like, I guarantee that I'm getting booked for strategy sessions right now. Right now, because somebody is watching a podcast. Can you go live a little bit more? Can you be your ad? You become your ad and go live on your Instagram channel, on your Facebook channel. You start a profile on LinkedIn. You get on Twitter and start You get consistent with content 3 to 5 times a day, every single day. You attend things like You Can't Invest in Ads, invest in the Content Creation Bootcamp.
If you like the video that you just watched, click this one. You're going to like this one, maybe even more.